It's Monday, June 8th. In the headlines, water supply restored to thousands following a power disruption. In business news, GK Money Services to waive wire fees for June. Regionally, Caribbean Development Bank President calls for greater climate resilience and funding at 56th annual meeting. In sports, rain washes out West Indies' second ODI against Sri Lanka. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. National Water Commission says it has made further progress in restoring water supply to customers affected by Friday's island-wide power outage. The Commission reported that approximately 65,000 customers were without water over the weekend, but that number has since been reduced following ongoing restoration efforts. The NWC said operational teams are continuing to work closely with the Jamaica Public Service Company to resolve issues affecting several facilities. The agency notes in a statement that while electricity has returned to most locations, water service restoration also requires safety checks on pumping systems, electrical equipment, treatment plants, and storage infrastructure before full operations can resume. Customers in elevated areas and at the ends of distribution networks may continue to experience low water pressure or delayed restoration as systems are replenished. The NWC expects restoration work and system checks to continue over the next 24 hours. The Senate has approved legislation authorizing the annual withdrawal of $11.4 billion from the National Housing Trust to support the government's budget over the next 5 fiscal years. The National Housing Trust Amendment Special Provisions Act 2026 will apply from 2026-2027 fiscal year through to 2030-2031. Leading the debate, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith said the government reluctantly decided to continue the measure.
The facts are that the withdrawal will not harm the NHT financially or institutionally. The transfers cannot be converted in the short term into closing the affordable housing gap. Thirdly, the constraints which exist are other than cash-based, and even simply increasing loan amounts only drives up the prices that again marginalizes the very people who you want to be able to have access to affordable housing.
She argued that ending the transfers at this time would significantly reduce government revenue and could result in cuts to national programs or the introduction of new taxes.
The losses incurred by Hurricane Melissa, Mr. President, if memory serves, more than $1 trillion in loss and damage. Mr. President, the scope of reconstruction that has to take place and the deep engagement that's going to be needed with international financing as well as our local sources and engagement with the private sector. The sheer scope of what's going to be needed, Mr. President, is such that yes, this is a time that might not be the best in order to discontinue the transfers, Mr. President. Mr. President,
the government says the NHT remains financially stable and capable of sustaining the annual transfers while continuing to expand access to housing solutions across the island. The National Works Agency has begun the search for a new chief executive officer, signaling the likely end of the long tenure of current CEO E.G. Hunter, who has led the agency for about 14 years. The leadership transition comes amid increasing public concern over road conditions and infrastructure challenges across Jamaica. Among those raising concerns is Member of Parliament for St. Andrew North Central, Delano Seawright, who recently described road-related issues as the biggest concern facing residents in the constituency. Jamaica's agriculture sector is set for a major transformation as the government rolls out a new 10-year development plan aimed at boosting food production, strengthening climate resilience, and improving food security. The initiative comes as farmers continue to recover from the devastating impact of Hurricane Melissa, which caused billions of dollars in damage across the sector.
The agriculture sector is preparing for major changes as the government rolls out new plans to boost food production, improve farming systems, and help the country better withstand drought, hurricanes, and rising global food prices. At the heart of the plan is a new 10-year National Agricultural Development Plan, produced with support from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO.
This plan focuses on resilient and sustainable production systems, innovative agribusiness and value chains, efficient agricultural trade, food security and nutrition, and also incorporates a number of cross-cutting areas like research, information technology, agricultural workforce, youth, gender, and perennial larceny.
To further strengthen the document, the ministry will meet with farmers' groups, private sector stakeholders, the Jamaica Agricultural Society, and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority for additional discussions and feedback. The sector was dealt a major blow by Hurricane Melissa, which caused more than $36 billion in agricultural damage. Relief efforts began quickly, and the government is now moving into phase 2 of the recovery program. This phase will focus on helping livestock, yam, and coffee farmers, while a new voucher system will assist farmers who are still waiting on support. The government has set aside $250 million for this intervention. To boost local food production, the Agriculture Ministry will distribute 5,000 backyard gardening kits and aeroponic towers to persons living in urban communities this year.
One of the things that we all know now is that if we are to grow forward, we have to grow some of it ourselves. And that is why we continue to encourage our people to engage in backyard farming.
The ministry is also expanding its fruit tree program after Hurricane Melissa destroyed large numbers of orchard crops. The goal is to establish 3,000 acres of fruit trees by 2035, focusing on crops such as ackee, breadfruit, mango, avocado, and coconut. The government is also finalizing a national livestock policy aimed at modernizing the industry. The policy will improve breeding systems, strengthen animal health services, support local feed production, and encourage climate-smart livestock practices.
We're in the final stages of the development of the National Livestock Policy. In fact, we expect the policy to be at the green paper by the end of Q2 in this financial year.
The Jamaica Dairy Development Board is also moving into phase 2 of its genetic improvement program. This year, 200 high-yield dairy animals are expected to be imported from the United States, while 400 heifers already purchased are being distributed to farmers to strengthen milk production. Goat farming is also being expanded with plans to import 1,000 goats this year.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Grace Kennedy Currency Trading Services Limited, also known as FX Trader Cambio, is waiving wire transfer fees for small and medium-sized enterprises and commercial customers throughout June. This is part of the commitment to supporting Jamaican businesses amid ongoing global economic challenges. The limited time offer, running from June 1 to June 30, 2026, applies to new and existing customers conducting wire transfers with a minimum value of US $10,000. Payments may be made in major currencies including US dollars, Canadian dollars, pounds, sterling, and euros, allowing customers to save up to US $60 per transaction. The initiative comes as businesses continue to navigate rising operating costs, shifting global trade conditions, supply chain pressures, and increased competitions. For many small businesses, cross-border payments are critical for paying overseas suppliers and maintaining international business relationships. Margaret Campbell, Chief Executive Officer of Grace Kennedy Money Services, says the initiative reflects the group's continued focus on supporting customers and enabling economic activity. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica reports that a sharp decline in exports during the first 2 months of the year. Figures show export earnings fell by 28.8% to $217.7 million between January and February when compared with the corresponding period last year. The decline was largely due to a 59.1% drop in earnings from crude materials, excluding fuels. Jamaica's spending on imports also contracted during the period, falling 8.1% to US $1.21 billion compared with a year earlier. The reduction in imports was driven by slower spending on raw materials and intermediate goods, consumer goods, fuels and lubricants, with fuel imports recording the largest decline of 20%. For the trading period of June 5, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Kent Hire Holdings Jamaica Limited with 13,616,466 units, representing 39.61% of market sales activities. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 5,644,913 units, representing 16.42% of market sales activities. Wigton Energy Limited with 5,226,702 units, representing 15.21% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, distribution, and solar energy plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market, based on Bank of Jamaica data for June 5, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. Trading margins for the US dollar reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $156.98 and buying at $158.10. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 19-cent transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $113.80 and was bought for $113.61. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities, $7.99 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $215.04 and was bought for $207.05. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, many people see a credit score as simply a number that lenders use to approve or deny a loan. In reality, your credit score, credit report, and credit card usage can work together as a powerful financial ecosystem that opens doors to travel opportunities, premium experiences, and significant savings. So step 1, review your credit report and correct any inaccuracies. Step 2, improve your credit score by paying bills on time and maintaining low credit utilization. Step 3, research travel rewards cards that align with your preferred airline, hotel, and travel destination. Step 4, direct recurring expenses through your rewards cards while paying balances responsibly. Step 5, monitor rewards accumulation and create annual travel goals. Step 6, redeem rewards strategically during peak travel periods when ticket prices are highest. In our funded and focused feature, many entrepreneurs believe that funding is their greatest challenge. In reality, the lack of funding is often a symptom of deeper issues that make lenders, investors, and grant agencies hesitant to provide capital. The good news is that most funding barriers can be addressed with preparation, strategy, and consistency. So number 1, poor financial records. Many businesses cannot clearly demonstrate their revenue, expenses, profit, or cash flow. So without that information, lenders and investors see increased risk. Then there's a weak credit profile. So you want to make sure low personal or business credit score is addressed because that can limit access to funding. And then there's no clear funding plan. So you don't want to be one of those business owners that seek money without a clear understanding of how much they really need, what it will be used for, and how it will generate returns. And then there's limited financial relationships. So when you wait until money is needed, this reduces the opportunities. You want strong relationships with banks, credit unions, and investing. And then operating informally. Businesses that lack proper registration, tax compliance, business banking, or formal systems often struggle to qualify for loans, grants, and investment opportunities. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, the Caribbean continues to face increasingly powerful hurricanes that can devastate communities, cripple economies, and leave thousands vulnerable in their wake. As climate-related threats intensify across the region, the need for greater resilience and recovery financing has become more urgent than ever. During an exclusive interview with Our News, Daniel Miller spoke with President of the Caribbean Development Bank while attending the bank's 56th annual meeting in the Bahamas. Here's her report.
From 2017, there have been 5 Category 5 hurricanes in this region. Names like Maria, Irma, Dorian, Beryl, and Melissa are legendary for leaving a trail of destruction, from multiple deaths to physical and mental trauma compounded by billions in loss and damage. In my exclusive sit-down with the president of the Caribbean Development Bank, Daniel Best, at last week's 56th annual meeting of the Board of Governors, he talked about this new reality facing the region.
What was a 1 in 100 year event is now 1 in every other year. And we can't survive in that kind of catastrophic space unless we do something major.
And the CDB is taking action. They are strong supporters of the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, specifically working with them to develop a parametric product focused on agricultural support and recovery.
It's twofold. One, they provide food for us, but two, they're citizens who now have no livelihoods. So being able to support the farming community with a type of a parametric facility that is triggered in the event of an adverse weather impact over a certain threshold, designing that is what we are doing right now with CRIF.
Best also acknowledges the CDB's support in helping member countries cover catastrophic insurance premiums. They are also in discussions with the insurance sector and governments on providing better consumer access to insurance coverage.
Post-disaster period, the burden on our governments is extreme. Is extreme in many cases to those who are not insured, right? So how do we help persons be able to access insurance?
Reporting for our news, I'm Danielle Miller.
Caribbean Airline is investing in the region's future workforce. To mark the third anniversary of its sustainability program, the airline partnered with Guyana Tourism Authority to take its Career Caravan initiative to secondary schools across Demerara, exposing students to career opportunities in aviation and tourism. The details in this report.
The leading airline in the Caribbean and a close transportation partner to Guyana has recently celebrated the third anniversary of its sustainability program. One such initiative recently came to life in Guyana, where Caribbean Airlines partnered with the Guyana Tourism Authority to host its Career Caravan Education Outreach Program at 4 secondary schools across the East Coast and East Bank of Demerara. Through this strategic partnership with the GTA, the regional airline engaged students of grade 9 to grade 10 at 4 secondary schools from May 28th to 29th on the heels of Guyana's 60th Independence Diamond Jubilee celebrations. Caribbean Airlines country manager for Guyana and Suriname and other team members from the airline and GTA were responsible over the 2 days to engage students. Students from Annandale Secondary, President's College, Suzaik Secondary, and Diamond Secondary were introduced to exciting career opportunities within the aviation and tourism industry through presentations. Caribbean Airlines country manager for Guyana and Suriname, Renata Marshall, stated, quote-unquote, "Our young people are an important demographic for Caribbean Airlines. It is therefore essential that we engage and connect with them as the next generation of leaders, and our Career Caravan Education Outreach Program provides a meaningful platform to achieve this objective." Additionally, the GTA says it is pleased to partner with CAL on this initiative and ensure it is a success. The Career Caravan is a flagship initiative under the education pillar of the airline's sustainability program, and since its launch, has positively impacted more than 137,000 students throughout the Caribbean. This successful collaboration highlights the power of partnership, volunteerism, and community engagement, values that have been at the heart of the airline's sustainability program since its launch on June 3rd, 2020. As Caribbean Airlines celebrates 3 years of sustainability, says it remains committed to creating meaningful opportunities, strengthening communities, and making a lasting difference across the region it proudly serves. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
As the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States marks its 45th anniversary, regional leaders are renewing calls for deeper integration and bold action to confront economic uncertainty, climate threats, and global instability. The message is clear. Small states must work together to build resilience and secure their future. GBN News has that report.
A significant milestone are the words being used to describe the journey of collective resilience that has defined the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States since the signing of the Treaty of Bastille in 1981. The 45th OECS anniversary is being celebrated under the theme, One Vision, One Voice, Navigating Challenges Shaping Our Future. However, after 4 decades, one can query why the realities are not more favorable for countries in the OECS, which includes Grenada, noting that the global environment has been marked by continued economic uncertainty, climate vulnerability, and geopolitical shifts. Accordingly, the recent exhortation of OECS Director General Dr. DIGI that no one is coming to save us was again brought into focus. Dr. Jules had stated that small states survive not on being self-sufficient, but being system smart. It has been noted by various parties, including the OECS Director General and the ECCB Governor, that fragmentation weakens the region's ability to respond to global challenges. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank on March 31st launched a strategic plan dubbed the Big Push, in which Governor Timothy Antoine described as making life better for the people of the currency union.
A bold vision and plan for transforming the economies of the ECCU, higher incomes, greater resilience, and a greater capacity to handle our affairs.
Seemingly, Governor Antoine sharing the sentiments first articulated by Professor Robinson that nobody is coming to save us, noted that the Big Push is the bank's response to the current global environment.
The time for talk has passed. The time for incremental change is long gone. It's no longer enough.
He has called for a concerted, sustained and bold action to transform the economies of the currency union.
If we stand still in a rapidly changing world, standing still is falling behind.
While the OECS has focused on shared aspirations, the Big Push by the ECCB is calling for immediate action. I am Gerard Joseph reporting.
In sports, we lead off with cricket. The West Indies' hopes of winning the one-day international series against Sri Lanka were dashed on Saturday with rain forcing an abandonment of the second ODI in Jamaica. The West Indies won the toss and decided to field against Sri Lanka in the second one-day international at Sabina Park in Kingston. Skipper Shea Hope felt that with the possibility of evening showers, the decision to let the tourists bat first was the right one. Unfortunately, the rains came earlier than expected in Jamaica, with the match being abandoned without a ball being bowled. Sri Lanka won the first ODI by 41 runs, so the West Indies can draw the series if they win the third and final ODI on Monday evening at Sabina Park. West Indies women were crowned winners of the 2026 Ivara International Tri-Series involving Ireland and Pakistan on the back of dominant wins in their first two matches to finish atop the standings and lift the trophy in Dublin last week. Storming to victory by 8 wickets against hosts Ireland in their first encounter on May 28th, the Maroon Warriors then defeated Pakistan the following day by 25 runs to put themselves firmly in control of the Tri-Series. This proved to be critical as the last 3 matches of the series were heavily impacted by rain, with the West Indies' fourth and final match against Pakistan ending in a no result, and the final match of the series between Ireland and Pakistan being abandoned without a ball being bowled. Despite narrowly losing their third encounter to Ireland by 1 run under the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method, the West Indies finished with a higher net run rate than the hosts to secure the series victory. And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching the People's Station.